Welcome. I'm Michael Sameka, and my next guest is going to be Frances Sameka. And I'm looking forward to seeing her walking in and doing what she does. Here she comes.
You ready?
Come on in.
Oh gosh, wait.
Oh gosh, she says. Ah, look at her taking her rightful space. Hey, beautiful woman.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm looking amazing. How are you?
And I guess we're recording right away.
Wasn't that fun?
Did you hear me running down the steps?
I did not hear you running down the steps, actually.
You didn't?
No,
Okay. I was.
My instincts were just running very well. I
Yes,
kind of sensed it was the right time. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to in the last 2 years post-COVID. How you doing?
That's a loaded question.
Well, you can answer.
And this is supposed to be about you.
Well, I was just trying to introduce people to you, because what if somebody seeing this for the first time might be their first exposure to you? You never know.
Okay. Well, I'll tell a little bit about me, but again, this is to be focused on you and your work. So,
Okay. All right.
Yes, I will. I'm the wife. And so the last 2 years have been working from home. Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot that's happened. So I don't know how deep we want to delve into that subject, but there's been a lot. So, there's that one of the questions actually has to do with some of the things that I've been through. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pick 3 hot topics.
Ooh, I love that. You did that last time. 3 questions.
Yeah,
and you had me in tears. Please don't.
Absolutely, to ask you about.
Are you going to have me crying this time?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
So we're going to do that. I will, one of the ones that'll definitely give you a clue to what it is, and I know you have different words for this, but I definitely had, I'm just going to speak kind of blunt because, so you're throwing me off a little bit with the camera. Okay.
Look, I like you speaking blunt. I got to be honest with you. I'm really okay with that. You know, my people really are okay with that.
Okay.
And you know what? Everybody else who doesn't know me that is looking at this for the first time, at least they're going to dial them up to what we truly are about, which I think is important.
Well, right. Well, I'm going to talk about being a participant / patient. I'm going to use slang words, and I'm going to use some of your words as well.
Okay.
So people will understand.
Thank you.
So within the last year and a half, I had what we kind of called like a panic attack or anxiety. And then I'm going to let you explain, how you want to how you interpret that. Because you've got different language and words for that.
I just call it convoluted energy. That's all it is.
Right.
It's convoluted energy.
But I want people to know, okay, this is what this is.
Okay.
So they understand. And they know that it's real and I went through it and you helped me. And I'm going to ask you a little bit about that.
Okay.
So that, and just amazing now, and it didn't take me too long, but it was definitely a process. Mm-hmm. We worked really well together, worked through it like every day. And I'll let you go into that deeper because that's what you do. And then I would say, I can share I was injured. You're not going to be able to see it, but I had a fall in Boulder, Colorado, while we were on vacation, and it was the worst injury of my life at 51. And I cut my face and hit my head, and Michael took care of me, and I'll let him go into that deeper as well. So other than that, those are the 2 like markers in the past 2 years. Everything else has been wonderful and amazing, and those haven't been, we worked through all of that, and I had, everything has been amazing, and I guess per se everything's back to kind of normal, if that's the word that I'm going to use, and so I guess that kind of sums it up.
Well, I'll word it this way.
Okay, please.
Seriously. I would say that you got acclimated to your new normal.
Yeah.
She went through what we would call a rite of passage or an initiation. She is participating well in her emergence. And that wasn't how you were processing all of this, because it was an accident and it was very difficult. And it really did impact you in a very interesting way, to watch your nervous system really, I guess, facilitate anxiety is a good way to call it. And then you really went through this process and you became a tender bird. I mean, truly that, and you did, and you were more feeling, but I think it brought our relationship a lot closer. And I think because I felt how much you appreciated my care for you. I mean, I felt that.
Oh, definitely. Just to comment on that to people, that was for that was the anxiety piece, and what, say your word again so people know your word.
Convoluted energy.
Convoluted energy. So
it's a form of exceeding metabolic capacity. It's the fact that there was so much input going into your beautiful nervous
there's a
system.
ton of input.
There really was. There was so much going on, baby. If you really get honest with yourself at that time, there were changes of employment. You were working from home, and but a lot of people were experiencing that because of COVID.
Oh, totally.
But what was amazing was you and I have done an interview, and I always talked about people want to know what's it like to be married to me, because I think they want to know, because I'm feeling like if I'm giving out these concepts and I'm acting like I'm all knowing, or that I have housing of these truths, is it all BS, and what's it like being married to me? And your answer was really powerful, but you said, well, first off, I am the wife. I am not a client. And you soon became a client. We didn't have a choice, even though you're still my wife.
Yes.
All of a sudden I did care for you, and I was allowed to care for you, and it was okay for me to go into that realm with you, into that area of my expertise with you, and you got to appreciate it on a firsthand level, where that was not something that you really were privy to at that kind of intense care.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Intense is the perfect word for that, because I had never dealt with, any of that, and I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't really know if it was a thing, and I was humbled beyond belief, and then humbled again, and literally brought to my knees, and when I was injured, which was an awful injury. I'm speaking of it lightly, but it was truly terrible, and
well, it was traumatic for you. It was really
well.
traumatic for
Yeah.
you. I mean, it really, really was. I mean, I would say there's still an element of PTSD in the fact that I watch how you are in protecting your eye and your face. Oh, I mean, really, it's intense. It still is, and I'm very tender and gentle with your process, whatever that is, right? We don't should all over you, SHOULD, and we allow it to be what it is. But I was appreciating the fact that you really leaned into a couple of things that we do, like floor time, and releasing breath. And we don't have to go into it now, but you truly became what we call a participant, right? Where you started using these things and they were helpful. And it was so endearing for me to walk into your bedroom, our bedroom, and see you on the floor doing floor time or doing the breath. And it was really nice to feel you that humbled, to the point that you were allowing yourself to receive support wherever it was going to come from. And you allowed that to hold you.
Absolutely. And I feel like we're kind of getting a little bit, I want to get to like the true, like, about your work, but I am going to entertain this, definitely, because it's important, but for people to know that what we did for the anxiety piece, and you're going to have to keep saying your word, because I want to focus on really kind of what I want to, say to everybody, is when you have that, is one of the tools that Michael uses is floor time. And what that is you lay on the floor, on your back, and you raise your legs. You might want to use a chair just a little bit. So it's kind of like the chair that I'm sitting in, if you can see that, but you put your legs on the chair, so your back is on the floor and your legs are raised, and your arms are stretched out to a comfortable length of what feels really good to you, and you're able to lay there in peace and be grounded with the energy of the floor. And then you always say, I'm gonna let you fill in this, because it's I believe a heart and blood flow. You want to add to that?
Well, as far as the feet being at 90 degrees and 90 degrees, we talked about Venus return. People were talking about the importance of having blood flow going to your feet, but your feet are raised. And I'm like, well, the most important thing is Venus return, getting the blood back into the heart from the feet. But it's the idea of submitting yourself in that position and letting the earth, even though it's our bedroom floor, hold you and support you. And it does create a shift where you're able, we call it active stopping. it's a practice for active stopping, floor time. And that's very important to help the body adapt, because when you're in your word anxiety or a convoluted energy place, whether it's an experience or an expression, stopping is just so beneficial. It's like cleansing, it's like clearing, it's like fasting, because the input is just so overwhelming. It's called exceeding metabolic capacity, and there was no way for you to wiggle out of it. You had to stop, to reset, to recalibrate. And it only lasted so long, law of diminishing effects, but you were so good at doing it. And now that you're on the other side of it, there is another Frances that did emerge going into the forward healing model. You're not the same wife that I had. And you aren't. You look the same, but your personality, you are far more tender. You're not the blow 'em up kind of movie girl that you always were. And that's
No, I have to watch out for those again. No,
you stopped watching Walking Dead, and you tried watching it the other day, and you found out, nope, I'm not that
Not
person.
ready yet.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you ever will be. I think
I do want to find out,
what happened to,
what
what's his
happens
name?
at the very end.
What's the guy's name?
I'm curious.
Rick. What
Thank
happened?
you.
Thank you. I remember.
But I do want to go to that, and it works. And if you're borderline and you don't know about these tools, then I'm here. It's tried and true, and so you have to do those, to get better, and it does work. And then also one of the other tools that I appreciated, that works tremendously, and I tend to do more of that still today after a year and a half, is the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can do that along with the floor time as well, because you can get some really great breaths and deep, and breathing in and holding it for like 2 or 3 seconds, or whatever makes you feel comfortable, and then releasing it. And it's just a big breath, and seeing how far you can get it to go down. And sometimes you might not be able to get down too far, but if you do that, then it will work. And again, it's tried and true, and I lived it. Mm-hmm. And again, it's changed me, because I am more humble and appreciative, and just grateful that you guided me into all of that, and you had created all of these tools to help people. And I'm here to tell you it works. So I know that we kind of got off on that, but I want to get to some just really great points, and I want you to just answer the questions, just nail the questions. We kind of went off on a tangent here, but I think it would be great for people to see, and kind of hear the stories, and, it might be another time that we, get into, kind of what went on for the past 2 years for me. I think that would be good for people to know, because they've probably gone through something and it's all healing, is when you hear, they're like, oh my gosh, I went through that. So, excuse me, I have to put my glasses on. So I'm going to ask you questions. Is that okay to kind of drop it there? Did you have another point?
Well, I actually do have a point.
Oh, okay, perfect.
My point is, thank you so friggin' much. I fucking love you. I got to throw that out, right? I am not going to get emotional, but I'm teetering on this right now just to say that it was amazing being able to care for you, and for you to get to see that side of the work, because you've always been present to it, and you've heard, and you've been running in the background as the wife, but you quickly became initiated as, I'm not just the Hair Club president, I'm also a client. Well, now you're also a client, you're a participant. And it was nice for me, not just to show off this work, because I've always known that it's really good, but to give you an intimate experience about what it is that we're packing, because you have so amazingly supported me without having a firsthand experience of it. There's always been a trust, and you have stayed on the periphery as the wife, and it's special. It's very special to me, and that's difficult for me to say and to not get emotional, but it was nice for me to show you the wares of this work.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there. Mm-hmm. I love you. Mm. And to be in that state of, and you can put another word to this, complete helplessness. It's never been me. I've always done, was raised. If you want something done, you do it yourself.
You've been very strong, very
Yes.
self-sufficient, but you needed this. You needed to know.
I did.
You
Yeah.
needed to know that you can be okay without having to go, 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 go all the time. And then if the world throws something at you, that you're going to be okay, because it wasn't the helplessness that really messed with you. It was your relationship to the helplessness that really messed with you. And I was
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yes. And then it's one of your sayings, I want to get it right. It's happening for you, not to you. I'm like, okay, I get that, but I'm ready to move on. I got it's happened for me. Let's
You got
move
the
on.
concept.
Yeah.
Now getting the concept is a little different than
But
getting
it
what
takes a long, long time to get there, which you showed me. I'm like, dang, when is this going to get better? When is it going to get better?
you actually have to extrapolate the what it is, the purpose and the meaning. It is happening for you, but that's a general statement that helps you unpack to go into that deeper dive.
Right, but it's very hard to get your mind around that because you just want to get better. I want to get better immediately, and
Right.
I'm that audience.
Right.
I'm the audience that goes, okay, well, fix me.
Right. And here I am at this
Quickly,
point going,
quickly.
okay, honey, let me tell you a little more about forward healing now as it relates specifically to you. So it got practical and it got real in a hurry.
Yes.
And that's had a lot to do with it, about stepping well and gracefully into your new life. And it was something that took a while, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It was the integrity of your process, right?
Absolutely.
But I was there, you were there, we held each other, and our relationship got stronger because of it. And there was no doubt. We've always been a fun couple. We've always been very romantic, sexual. But
it
this,
just took it to another level.
did, and
it
none
was
of that.
deeper, and
It really is. And I feel it.
even though it was, I'm going to say in my words, even though I felt like, oh, this is bad, but it really was. Turn it around. It's happening for you, not to you. Turn it into a positive, and that's what you did.
God bless you.
So
God bless you.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. Just because I really, really appreciate you doing this, and I'm trying to be conscious of your time because you know I can go on tangents. What are you packing? What do you got for me? Go ahead.
okay, perfect. Because I did actually have.
I know
I don't
you-
know if we're gonna break this up, but I did actually have questions prepared.
And again, like
So-
last time,
and
I don't really know
but
what
this
you're
is
going to
good
ask.
stuff.
But
So, yeah.
do you enjoy keeping questions from me that you know you have them, that you're going to spring them to me on
No,
the camera?
this is important in our world right now.
Okay, right.
And it's a part of, like, when we just got through talking about the anxiety piece, and please use your name again, use your word again for that.
Convoluted energy.
I'm not going to remember that. Anxiety, convoluted energy.
Can
So
let me break that out. The reason we use convoluted energy is it actually gives you something you can work with. Anxiety, because of the neuroassociation with that word, automatically triggers an adversarial relationship. You're dealing with the obstruction, if you will. There's a block in the road, and all of a sudden you're giving, quote unquote, the anxiety, the energy. Well, you're trying to overcome that. So if you use convoluted energy, it makes it clear that how do you do this? Piecemeal, one bit at a time, slow down, stop. It's just convoluted energy. It's gotten complicated. There's too much input for the system. So I call it convoluted energy because that empowers people to go, I got to stop. Floor time. I've got to address this one bite. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Piecemeal. If you say anxiety, it doesn't empower you to be the solution.
Right.
But by calling it convoluted energy, and it's very important that you call all angst convoluted, even fear, it's just convoluted energy, because then that gives you a hint to stop and do other things besides stopping. Maybe it's sleep or rest. Maybe it's to make amends with somebody, maybe with yourself. Maybe you have to maybe you have to journal. I don't know. Maybe you have to get in touch with something that's going to put everything in its place, and that allows it to have purpose and meaning. And that's very important, that you can discover, attribute, find, fall into a purpose and a meaning for something that's challenging for you. It's very, very important to put meaning.
I get it, definitely. But I want people to know, when they listen to this, they don't know your terms yet. Okay, so that I'm just going to skip. That was my third one. But since we're talking about.
Look up. I want to see your glasses. Oh my God.
Oh no,
look
I
at
do
you.
have to wear these. This is 51. Okay, so when we're dealing with convoluted energy / anxiety, but we don't want to give it that name, but I
Right.
want people to know what I'm talking about. So that's one of my big questions is I want to know, in a nutshell, how you treat that, or how, and even you probably don't use the word treat.
I don't.
What do you use? And tell me about how you help a person with those challenges.
I do believe that everything that we receive in life is feedback, and the feedback is honest and integrous, which means it's appropriate, always appropriate. That's That's unconditional. And so when you're experiencing some kind of feedback, it's to help you make the proper change. It's helping you to answer the call. There are no problems. They're just calls to answer. And usually, because of the law of diminishing effects, we're deficient in something. And it could be stopping, and it could be in contributing meaning and having purpose in our lives. And we try to go it so well without doing these things. But if you were to live life without eating, you'd get really, 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 really hungry. That's positive feedback telling you to eat. And when you're experiencing convoluted energy, it just means you have to get your life together. You have to really address things. And as quote unquote inconvenient as it might be, it's the most important thing you can do is to allow it to have purpose, to sanctify it, to give it meaning, to realize it's happening for you, not to you. And what I do is I just actually ask questions to dial people up into that understanding, because what they're in is in the throes of some kind of chaos, because they do feel and they're acting as if, Houston, we got a problem here. That's the bigger problem, is that an individual feels that there's a problem. Well, my job is not to make it wrong that they're feeling that way, but to just to recognize that's a reaction. That's just the animal brain, the primitive brain, the brain stem. That's old brain, that's old mind. But the higher brain wants you to attribute purpose and wants you to be able to transcend it and let the prefrontal cortex and the newer sophisticated you that's constantly emerging to see the light of day, to come forth and to get wiser as you get older and to find your way through emergence and to realize that we all have calls to answer to emerge. Okay. And so I keep all of that in, as I don't say all that, but I will talk about active stopping.
Okay, awesome. So, for example, I come in as a participant / patient,
client,
and I'm having a huge convoluted energy / anxiety, so people know. And you're going to sit me down and you're going to ask me a bunch of questions, or would you tend to, hey, let me teach you, let's do some floor time, or let's do some breathing? What's your process on that?
Well, my first
How
thing,
do you figure it out?
No, my first thing to do is I spend as much time with you as I possibly can to let you know that I got this. That now, even though there's mysteries and I don't know and there are no guarantees, because I unconditionally welcome anything, I want you to feel that at least you have somebody that feels comfortable in what you're presenting. And so I'm not going to fuel your freaked outness or your anxiety or, Houston, we got a problem here. I'm going to really open myself, humble myself, and begin the scientific inquiry with you around what is your recipe for success. So I'm going to try to really get to know you, getting to know all about this version of you. And the version of you that's presenting whatever you're presenting is going to give way to a greater version of you that's going to be able to handle it like a boss. And so, but I have to get to know the current version of you, because that current version of you has to organically pass the baton to greater you. Now, that's not an organic thing to happen. Most people are going to continue to see the world with the eyes that they have, with the brain state that they have. But that brain state is a big factor of what's causing an issue. So when someone comes to me, the first thing I'm going to do is, well, I do it all the time. I'm going to hold out that you're okay. I've got you.
There you go.
I'm not the only person you're going to need, but I'm going to be an incredible member on your success team, because I'm going to handle things that nobody else is going to handle, like this is happening for you. I'm going to put you at ease energetically. Even if I don't say those words, you're going to feel my comfort. You're going to feel my, I got this, meaning you got this, and that's really important to give you that experience, that feedback. Is that enough for right now? Because I can go on and on and on.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And what I, really, I'm looking for is, what you just said, basically, is it's happening again. I want calls to answer. This is happening for you. I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to get to know you. If it needs to be where we have to do floor time, we'll do floor time and breathing. Those are the things that helped me so much, is because, I'm so, okay, I do this, like a checkpoint. And that's just how I am. So it's good for me to kind of get what your process is when somebody comes in for that. And then there's some other points that I really want you to tell me about. your work is completely solution focused. Explain a little bit about that. What does that mean? It's very hot in the entire world. It's hot in the corporate world. Solution focused is and moving forward. These are things that we need to put in our day-to-day lives, and
Absolutely.
I'm going to let you talk about that.
Well, thank you. I'll try to keep it real simple. The bottom line is if you're going to be solution focused, you are going to be an advocate for your own emergence. And you are going to have to give yourself permission to see the world differently and to learn from your experience that how you perceived the world, how you interacted with the world got you to this point, to this step. But you're going to have to get off that step to get on the next step, and you're going to have to discover emerging aspects of you, emerging insights that you're learning that if you embrace, you will be more whole, more complete, more fulfilled, more secured, more held. And we all want that. If you're losing your footing, that's because you're experiencing an inaccurate or incomplete paradigm. You have your understanding of the world got you to this point, but you're going to have to expand your awareness like that this is happening for you. And the reason that I focus so much attention on this is because it shifts your mindset, and that shift of a mindset puts you in the right mindset to actually handle it like a boss, as opposed to allowing you to be in a suboptimal mindset, which is going to make it that much more difficult for me to get the kind of results I want. For me to get the results that I want, which I want great results, whatever that might be for you, I have to hold the right mindset for you, meaning I have to respect your process. Even if you're not responding as quickly as I like, I'm going to trust that that's the integrity of your process. I'm not going to do battle with it because you want me to be more effective and give you results quicker than I can, then your integrity will allow. But I'm not gonna slow your process. That's for darn sure. I'm gonna promote it, but I'm not gonna also manipulate it. I'm gonna work with it organically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
How would you get someone, would you ask questions to get them to change their mindset? How would you go, give me an example.
It's funny that you use the term change your mindset, because that's even a funny mindset. I would say that I would offer cookies, right? They're almost like perspectives and allow you to say thanks but no thanks. And so I'm not really quote unquote changing their mindset. I'm just discovering what their greaterness will embrace. Like there's things that their greaterness will not embrace. I'll make an offering. That really is the term. I'll make an offering and watch if...
But what does that mean?
Well,
when you say I'm going to make an offering, you give
this is happening for you, not to you. Mm-hmm. Somebody might go, "What the hell? No, I'm going to get the hell out of here." And I'd be thinking to myself, "Well, you can do that, but you're going to sacrifice a resource. Don't look for the end all be all. Don't look for any doctor, any person, any healer, any coach to be the end all be all. You are amazing in your holistic qualities. We're all holistic health is a redundant phrase. So what I'm doing is bringing something new, novel, that's important into their life, because that's stimuli and that's going to change things. And I know that what I'm packing is nutritious. It's neurologically rich. It's not going to help them, overwhelm them. Now, it may compete with their paradigm, and it might seem conflicting to a previously held belief that they have. And it's like, oh, I just believe in medicine and only medicine and mechanistic, and that's the only thing. I don't even know why I'm here. I think all you guys are quacks and you're all, woo-woo. That's very, very difficult for me to be successful. Like I said, well, I understand that. And there's a lot of accuracy to that. Multiple truths. There is a lot of accuracy to that. But I do want you to get comfortable in exploring something. Are you willing to consider the possibility that maybe I might be holding something that could be of great benefit to you? Can you at least hold the possibility that maybe, just maybe, I have something that's going to be a major game changer, an amazing resource for you, like an incredible resource? And could you be willing to just listen, to hear me out and see what you resonate with and go with that, and what you don't resonate with, go with that too. Like, trust that the words that I say that really resonate with you, that's for you. And the stuff that I say that don't resonate with you, let it go. Don't worry about it. We're honoring your recipe for success, and you're a sovereign, unique, autonomous individual. And I really want to honor that. Am I touching it or am I going off?
No, you're touching it, but you're going off a little bit.
Well, dial me in. I mean, seriously, dial me in. What are you looking for?
Okay, and so then I want to get to the third point, because I think that kind of blends in with
Before
that.
you get to the third point, I want to ask you about the second point.
Okay.
So Did I love that laugh? I swear to God, every time you laugh, you just crack me up. So I was going to ask you, did I cover your second point?
Okay, I'm gonna answer. Yes, you covered it, and you beat it. You beat a dead horse.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
For me.
Okay.
So I'm more of looking for a core just answer, like just nailing the answer in one or two sentences.
Okay, how about this? We are in a continuous process of discovery, of exploration, of really doing personal research on what's going to work for you. I'm incredible at that. I don't care where your success is going to lie. I don't. I have a boatload of tools for you. I really don't care which tool is going to work and which one doesn't. I am not attached that you jump on a specific concept,
Okay.
but I am curious to find out which concept you do resonate,
Okay.
like what your next step is.
That's good.
And that scientist in me is obsessed.
Good baby.
Oh, stop.
Yes,
Am I
stop.
killing a dead
Stop.
horse again?
So what? Yeah.
Or
So
beating-
what I would say is,
Please.
What I like that you just said is that when somebody comes in, whatever they're coming in for, it's unique,
It is.
and you're going to find out their recipe for success through getting to know them, questions. You have psychotechnologies that you've created that you can share with them. And they can go to your website and read all about them. And so that they can do that research before they even come to see you. And that can be, part of the process because they work and they're tried and true is, what I'm saying. So I'm going to say the last point I wanted to talk about or that I love that you use are blind spots because it's so true. And you really have to be humble about that for blind spots because people don't like to hear that. They're like, no, I don't have blind spots. But it's, you have to take it back and it's not all about you. You have to go to a loving place about blind spots. So I'm going to ask you to explain what you mean by that
Well,
and how you deal with them.
blind spots, the way I see it, it's to help people get off the soapbox of self, to be able to see with different eyes. Because when you see from the same eyes, there are blind spots. There's so much you're missing. And when you see from a different perspective, you create different blind spots, but at least you can have your own back on what a previous blind spot was. And this goes into multiple truths and seeing from different perspectives and not hiding behind your own truths, whatever you believe is complete, because they're not complete. The blind spots are letting you know that there are aspects of reality, of perception that you're missing. And so you want to be humble and you want to continue to be a seeker. You want to continue to see with different eyes so that you can have your own back and get off the soapbox of, I got to be true to myself. Well, every time you're being true to yourself, you're sacrificing your greater self. And the greater self is going to have your back better than your current self because it's going to be able to expose your blind spots and to realize where you're self-righteous or arrogant and where you cut life off from yourself because you're expressing some form of self-righteousness or arrogance as if it's possible for you to own the totality of truth. We hide behind our truths, and our truths, no matter how accurate they are remarkably and incredibly incomplete. Enter the blind spots. So my job is to really help people see from other perspectives where that's not threatening to their current version of themselves, because you're going right for the jugular of what they use that holds their world together. It's like, taking the rug and pulling the rug out from underneath them and going, okay, what you're saying is great. It's accurate. It's just remarkably incomplete. And that sometimes is difficult for some people to consider, that what they use to hold themselves together, their understanding of the world, where they go when times get tough, they rely on their tried and true truths that when your time to grow, you're going to have to see beyond the way you've always seen. And that's where all these psychotechnologies come in, because now you can consider these things and play with these things and interact with these things and then get the benefit of doing so, of interacting with these things. And that's all. And then when you see that you really are getting benefit because you're playing with this crazy language of mine, that all of a sudden, see, I've had my way with you. You've been Dr. Michael'd, or you've been Thrivapeutic, whatever.
Well, one of the things that I think the reason I'm mentioning this is because in our world now, the reason that's so important and the way that you're able to help people with that is because when you talk about blind spots, it's really, it's putting like, well, it gives us a chance to really put out love and put out the kindness. But what happens in our society nowadays is you do that, but you don't get it back because somebody doesn't want to believe what you're believing in. And that's not fair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. You're nailing it.
Everybody needs to take a minute, and if you're going to put out that love and kindness, the person that you're giving that to needs to possibly think the way that you do sometimes too.
Well, maybe they will, and maybe they won't.
Yeah,
see, that's the
but
whole
that's
thing.
what I'm saying is when you say blind spots, it explains the whole concept or the psychotechnology of, wait a minute, not just one group needs to do it.
Right.
Everybody needs to do it.
Well, look what's going on right now politically.
So
Everything is
that's
really
what I'm
being...
saying,
I figured that's what you're saying.
Everybody needs to stop and think and love and be kind and not think one way and force it on somebody. You don't have to force it. You can really love and be kind of somebody that you don't believe what they believe and vice versa. You can still do that. And I think blind spots defines that.
I think multiple truths also captures that. I think it's really important to humble oneself and to really reconcile with the fact that no human being, including you, oh wise one, can own the totality of truth. And if you're finding conflict, there's an opportunity for you to expand your understanding of an ultimate truth or a greater truth where you don't get locked into one perspective where you've then lost your humanity or lost your ability to love or have compassion. See, we're taught right now to enter into an adversarial relationship with people who don't think like us. Is it us or them? And we're looking for people. Do you think like me? If you so, you're on my team. And if you don't, you're against me and you're evil. And that is a problem because we're all one. We are one unconditionally. You may not like it. It doesn't matter whether you like Trump, whether you like Obama, whether you think Hillary is great, the worst thing that ever happened, or Trump is the greatest or the worst thing that ever happened. The bottom line is we are one. There is something we call unconditional entanglement. This isn't philosophical. And so when you're playing around in the separation, if you will, or the adversarial relationship of one camp to another, you're almost going, hey, can I have a dose of autoimmune disease, please, where the body is fighting the self, and you're like, well, I'm not them, and it's like, yeah, but you really are. And so now you're putting like an adversarial relationship, and you're participating, you're drinking the Kool-Aid that there's a singular truth and that you own it. That's a lot of arrogance. And now all of a sudden arrogance and self-righteousness is pervasive in our community. And the only way to really handle that is through love and through, acknowledging that you have blind spots, acknowledging that you don't own the totality of truth, and becoming a better listener, and then coming up with discovering what new solutions would be where you're actually safe to relate to, as opposed to being maniacal and trying to win in this relationship. Like you're a getter, which is not reciprocal. You're just talking about that you're having a relationship with somebody and it's not reciprocal. Well, then you get to like really assess that person is truly not safe for you to relate with. And you have to get honest with that.
And it's not nice.
It's not nice, but it also, but look, what if you need them for business? Now all of a sudden, now we're getting into this whole thing about what my definition of evil is like being so aggressive with an agenda that you lose your humanity. And we have to get honest. And sometimes we get so maniacal in trying to win that we've lost our humanity, that we really lose the accurate recipe for success because we're using just any recipe success that gets me the result that I want. That's what causes us to lose our humanity and put us in a really difficult place. But to be the solution, we're going to have to make peace, like politically, and to recognize that there is such a chasm right now between political parties, and it doesn't look like the people that we're talking to are really willing to sit down and have honest conversations, it looks like it really is going to continue to be an adversarial. I'm either winning or I'm losing.
Right.
And you got to recognize if you're going to
And
participate,
that's so wrong.
it's not only wrong, it's going to make things worse if you participate in it. Like,
Right.
the answer
It doesn't
lies
make you feel good.
The answer lies in humanity. The answer lies in each one of us to real. And it sounds so what is it, kumbaya? But it's not. It really is
It doesn't sound.
but it's
yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
We have to do this individually. Like, I've got to work on it for myself. And that's where, well, what's your position on this? And I was like, well, I married Frances. And do you have any idea how Christian she is? I mean, I've learned an awful lot being married to you, baby. I came into this relationship in one camp, and I would say I am so not solidified on any one camp. And I think love has helped me grow. It helped me get off of whatever soapboxes I'm standing on and to see from other perspectives. And I think I've done a pretty good job with that. I mean, there are some people that, might think that I'm a sellout, because love brought me to you, and I love your perspectives. I love learning because there's only goodness in you. And I know there really is only goodness in you. And so how do I turn around and say you're evil or you're foolish or you're ignorant or you're stupid because you think a way that I don't think? I can't do that. And so you've helped me so much get off my own soapbox and really become a better lover. And it's not just a physical love. It's like not making you wrong and not having an adversarial relationship with what feels accurate to you. Even though what feels accurate to you, I know is remarkably incomplete. But I also know what's accurate to me is remarkably incomplete. So I'm going to say that, well, my incomplete is better than your incomplete. It doesn't work that way. And so this is where I think love heals. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really believe that.
Well, it goes back to that old saying is,
It's not.
Listen,
I missed that. Do you believe it?
Well, we need to wrap. We need to wrap this up. So, are we still recording?
Yeah,
now?
but I lost the video portion, so we're going to be looking at you the whole time I talk. So I just wanted to tell you that I'm really sorry. Yeah, we are going to have to wrap this up. Is there any?
So I'm just going to say too, is this this is our first run, and there might be some things that we need to do at another time.
I'm good with that.
So we can do that, and we'll sit back and maybe shorten some of the definitions that we went over. So
I'm so sorry that my camera went off on that, but oh well.
Okay.
Yeah, but they'll be looking at your beautiful face while I'm talking. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's awesome.
Baby,
So,
thank you. I think we're just going to stop right here. I know it's an abrupt ending, but is there anything else you want to say? I mean,
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you for listening.
Hey, we did well. I'm glad we did this. Can we do it again? Hey, look
Yes.
at that top. Wow. Where did that come from? I was doing that from the first 4 videos. So where'd that come from, baby?
Actually, my husband got it for
I
me.
love those answers.
Yes.
Do you remember where we got that?
Yeah. Do you want me to say?
You could say. It's okay.
Okay. We got it the shoe gallery.
Yeah.
So Michael took me there and treated me, and I also got another dress.
And I treated her with that too.
Yes,
Yeah.
and another top.
But you
But
weren't
this is the shiniest one, which
you
of course I
weren't
love.
really aware that Shoe Gallery had awesome
I
clothes.
knew you were gonna go there.
But you weren't.
So yeah, because you think of the shoe gallery and you go, "What? There's clothes there?" And so we went there, and there were awesome clothes there, and really I ended up buying 3 different things, or Michael bought 3 different 2 tops and a dress for me, and I absolutely love them. I've worn them like every week since he got them.
God, I love doing that. See, she's not just my wife. She is my personal concubine, and I love spoiling her. So listen, my camera's completely dead. Will you take us out? Would you look at this beautiful camera and say anything you want to say goodbye?
I hope this has been helpful. We'll try to make it, just a little bit, bring it in tighter. And love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
All right, till next time. Bye.
Bye.